And now it's time to sip the coffee and spill the tea on Talking with 3D Live. Here's your host, Derrick Dixon.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am Derrick Dixon, the host of Talking with 3D Live. And this is where we always sip the coffee and spill the tea. Today, I have another special guest. ReNay Newman is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. But listen, before we do anything, do me a big favor. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button. Click it, love it, share it, do all those things. And make sure that you leave a comment. If you want to be a guest on Talking with 3D Live, all you have to do is email me, talkingwith3d@gmail.com. talkingwith3d@gmail.com. And this right here, it's an IRose production film. So please make sure again that you tell all your friends about Talking with 3D, because this is where we sip the coffee, spill the tea. But today it's about ReNay Newman. ReNay, thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Man, it's been a while since we have gotten together, but so much has been going on.
Yes.
You know, life has been lifing.
Life has been lifing,
Yes.
okay? Yeah.
And it's exciting to have you here because when we do, I got the Kleenex box here because, you never know when it comes with me and you.
You never know.
We're
gonna go some places.
We're going to go some places. We're gonna go there. And a lot of people say, well, what's going on? What's going on? Well, let me tell you a little bit about ReNay Newman. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about our history and how we actually met.
Yes.
So ReNay Newman is a social worker, program coordinator, DC Child and Family Service Agency, specializing in understanding childhood trauma. Mm-hmm. Also a minister and a spiritual life coach. Yes. Also a member of Church Way, Church of God. Mm-hmm. True Way, yes. Church of God.
Yes.
And a little bit about me and ReNay's history, that when I adopted, when I first got into becoming a foster parent, and you were assigned to our family.
Yes, I was.
And really helped with as far as, my children being adapting to being in now this new normal. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But to find out that the gag is, you became also more so like my spiritual life coach as well. Mm-hmm. Because I would call you and reach out to you and we would have in-depth conversations. Yeah. And you would always tell me, being a foster parent, being an adoptive parent, that I needed to spend time also for myself.
Absolutely.
And love me.
So important.
Because I'm the type of person where I'm give. Mm-hmm. And then when do I learn how to receive?
Yes.
So we're going to talk about that today. But ReNay, tell everybody a little bit more about who ReNay Newman is.
Okay. Where am I looking?
This is your camera.
Okay. So, as you stated, ReNay Newman, social worker, graduate of Howard University, master's, yes, class of 2000. I love my alma mater. And Coppin State University. I got my bachelor's in psychology. So, I love representing the HBCUs,
Yes.
That was a big thing for me growing up. I'm from Carroll County, Maryland. So, leaving that area and pursuing higher education, it was so important for me to have the Black college experience, know. And I take pride in both my alma maters, Coppin State University and Howard. I have always been drawn to psychology, human behavior, and then the clinical piece, understanding the mind, understanding how our past affects our future, and taking that further into social work at Howard. And I went there because they had a focus on empowering the Black family.
Wow.
And I always wanted to see our Black families go back to that bond and when families really meant something and uniting families. So I appreciate that educational piece. Me personally, my background, I'm a preacher's kid.
Okay.
My daddy started pastoring when I was 7 years old. Grew up old school apostolic. Okay.
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 Shouting and
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Revivals, conferences. Yes. All of that.
all day long.
Yes.
Sunday and
You know, and I would get so grumpy. I was sick of church.
Okay.
But I tell you now, sitting here in 2025,
You need
I
it.
long for those days
Yeah.
again.
We need it.
Yes.
The times that we're in. We need
Yes, it has
Yeah.
truly been my anchor,
Yeah.
and it has gotten me through, and it's taken me back to my roots.
Yeah.
You know, my childhood has really enhanced my work with people, why I do what I do, and my life is ministry.
Yeah. Isn't it funny, Renee, how, as you said, as a child, we're like, oh my gosh, we got to go again.
Yes.
We didn't get into the 8 o'clock service, and then we went to the 11 o'clock service, and then we went over and we ate at the buffet. Then we went back to the 3 o'clock service, and then we had to go back to the 6 o'clock service. We was tired.
Absolutely, yes.
And then you had to go home, you had to bathe, and then get ready for school.
Yes. And be on time for everything.
Be on time. And now we look back and we're like, look at what our life was being prepared for.
Yes, absolutely. And, growing up, all the kids would have their fun stories about what they did, who they hung out with. My stories was family and church.
Yeah.
And, back then, I took it for granted. Because I was like, oh, I'm ashamed to just tell people my whole weekend was church.
Right.
We were in New York, we were in South Carolina, we were in North Carolina,
Right.
we were in Virginia, we were in Atlanta, just thinking I did so much traveling. But I didn't get to hang out at the mall with my friends as often. I still had a life. I'm thankful for that, that I still was able to be a teenager, but those were little breaks in between.
Right.
And that got me to where I am now. And I find that I return to all of that. Yeah. And even in the work that I do now with spiritual life coaching. So after Howard, I continued to work in child welfare. That was definitely my ministry, understanding childhood behavior after my own childhood experiences and being able to look at other children who had similar stories as me with molestation or being violated or, the manipulation piece that God blessed me at a young age to open up and tell. Tell. And I was blessed with a supportive family who backed me. And I wanted to always minister to other children about secrecy when it comes to molestation and inappropriate sexual behavior. So it started there in understanding the stages of growth and development that I myself went through, understanding myself, having my dad, who was my hero, to say, baby girl, I got you.
Yeah. That's important.
Yes.
That's a big important factor.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of our children don't have that male bond or that male figure to get it and to understand. Especially in the Black community, in the Black family, we're taught, keep your mouth shut.
Keep your mouth shut.
Don't you say a word about anything. Yeah.
And I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
So
it's important.
all of that got me here.
Got you here.
Unfortunately, as you know, I lost my dad.
Yeah.
March will be 3 years. So I'm adjusting, I tell people, even in the work that I have resumed doing, because my self-care was to pause for a while.
Okay.
To pause, to go through my grieving, to pause, to get the healing that I needed, to pause and get therapy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So now I can talk about it as I'm still riding the wave of grief and understanding my new relationship with my dad.
Wow. Yeah. And we talked a little bit over the phone, and we talked about, we go through so many different situations in life. And a lot of times I always like to talk about, issues with men because of the fact that I am a man and how I relate being a man dealing with issues in life, and a lot of times we don't know how to release. Men don't know how to release their issues. We hold on to them. I was reading that Black men often report experiencing a higher number of traumatic events compared to other racial groups, including witnessing violence, experiencing physical assault, and exposure to racism. And that's why that we have this higher number of traumatic events. Another one, they were saying that the biggest mental issue with Black men is depression.
Yes.
Yeah.
I totally believe that.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah. Why is it so hard for us to release? I went through a situation where, I had these people that spoke so badly of me, wrote nasty things about me, lied on me, and there's a lot of times that I can just let that kind of stuff go. But I think it's because of who they were and who I thought they were. It hurt me to my core, where I just stopped. I wanted to stop writing. I wanted to stop acting. I just didn't want to do anything because it's not that I believed it, Renee. It's just the fact that how dare you speak these things on me, because that's not who I am, but it can play mind games with you.
Absolutely.
How is it that when people put you in that situation, how do we get out of it?
Number one, tell the truth. If it hurts, say it. The longer, not just Black men, but people in general, but it is prevalent with Black men. Oh, I ain't worried about that. I'm shaking it off. I'm shaking it off. Well, yeah, you may for a little while, but then something else happens. Before you know it, you're taking it in and packing it down. You're taking it in and you're packing it down. And it's just a cycle. And you get fuller and fuller. And it has to come out somehow. So how is it going to come out? How are you going to deal with your emotions? Are you going to become an angry Black man in your home?
And blame everybody.
Blame everybody, be short-tempered? Are you going to drink it away every time those feelings and emotions come? What are your vices? Because it has to come out. And then it's always a question of masculinity. I can't show how I feel. But Black men cry too. They have pain. And of course, nobody wants the image of walking around with the box of tissue. But you have to find a safe place, even if you create your safe place to process your feelings, because it's going to come out, even in your unconscious, even when you're sleeping and you're replaying it. Why? And as we all know, those who study behavior and even things in the spirit realm, what we deal with currently and how we respond to it, it's a trigger to something we've already been through. And I don't like feeling this way because I felt this way when I was 17 and this happened. And I promised I would never let anyone have this power over me. But this situation has triggered me. So those are the things where you have to acknowledge, what am I feeling? Why do I feel that way?
What you said is so important, is that we play it over and over and over, trying to figure out, how did it happen? Why did it happen? When will it stop? When will these feelings go away? And trying to find that can be so hard, that I don't know where to begin. So how do we tell men? Because also I was looking up, just 15% of men receive care for professional mental health. We don't ask for help.
No.
We don't seek it because we think we can go to the bar with our buddies And like you said, our vice, drinking it away or whatever. And we think that we went to the bar, we talked about it and everything. We get in the car, we drive home, and that situation is still
waiting
there.
for you. It was sitting in your car with its seatbelt on, sitting and waiting for you.
In your car.
Did you have a good time?
I love it.
It was sitting there fully secured, and you get back in your car saying, whew, I feel better. I ain't even thinking about that. And it's like, I'm right here.
Wow.
It's right there.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. You know, you try to drown it out with music. Every time when you want to get something off your mind, and I'm sure you can relate to people or you've seen it in the public, and they turn their music up. You're trying to get in a whole other zone.
Yeah.
You want that music to take you there, to drown the voices in your head, to drown your emotions. I'm shaking it off. I'm going to get lit tonight. We're going to turn up.
Yeah.
But again, you turn up, you lay down, or you might be one of the ones where alcohol is your truth serum. And you get to drinking and crying and talking.
And telling all your business.
Telling all your business.
Yeah.
Because what are you doing? You're taking it in and you're packing it down.
Yeah.
So it has to come out.
Has to come out.
So I would encourage anyone dealing with communicating their feelings to identify your safe place. Who's your tribe where you can sit and be transparent and get the healing. And if that's therapy, if it's a men's group, you know, we have to be there for our community. Black men need each other because we want to see Black men resume their role of being leaders of their household.
Yeah, and succeed in life. You know, what you were saying about how, you know, we pump up the music and because we want to go a certain place in this music. And we hear it and we're like, okay, this is where I'm at. And lately, I've turned the music off.
Okay.
I've turned it off. I just want to drive in my peace. I want to drive even with my thoughts. So therefore, my thoughts are clear.
Yeah.
And I can understand, why do I feel the way that I feel? And then I can notice little things. And sometimes there are signs that will show me and tell me, you know, this is what I'm trying to get you to understand. Is that healthy?
That is. But some people are scared to be alone with their thoughts. But that quiet time, that's God's time. And if you are a believer, you want to sit still and allow God to soothe you, to minister to you. And sometimes, and I'm very happy to hear that you take that time, because sometimes you have to silence everything around you and just say, here I am, God, speak to me. I'm listening. And that, you just need your silence. That is what you need to do. Posture and position yourself. You can have an altar anywhere. Your car can be your altar. You can build your altar. You can have your prayer room. But a moment where you're not talking, a moment where you're not asking, but you're saying, God, here I am. I'm listening.
Yeah.
And you'll find when you take the time to breathe, to meditate, you can do that. Just read the scripture and you'll see how God will give you answers. And you might fall off asleep. And sometimes, depending on how, if you know your God voice and how your God voice speaks to you, God can give you your answers in a dream and you can just wake up and I feel at peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
And while you're doing your daily tasks, answers will start coming to you. Just because you had that moment of stillness where you let God know, I'm positioning myself to hear from
the posture. Let me ask you this, because again, you know, and going through situations and you lose friendships, or you have to make a decision that I no longer want to be a part of this toxic relationship. Rather it be friendships, marriage, whatever.
Right.
You know, how do we tell ourselves it's okay? Because we'll beat ourselves up too. That, I'm trying to move forward, but then those thoughts keep replaying. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should call them. I'll check social media. What are they doing? And so how do we tell ourselves it's okay to move forward?
Wow, I'm dealing with that right now with my loved ones. In life, you go through different circumstances and situations that you have to part. My dad would say even the best of friends have to part at some point, be it through going separate ways in your lives or be it through transition of life. What I do, I look back at the quality of my relationships. And I just said to my mom, I said, you're at a point where you are a grieving widow. My parents were married 55 years. So now almost 3 years of life without her husband.
Wow.
Who checked on you? Because I would run out of paper with all the people that my parents blessed and were there for. And my mother, she's a giver. And she just loves on people. And I said, I want you to press pause on some of the people you're like, I haven't heard from. Just press pause and see how long in your relationship that person can go without talking to you. If you're always the initiator.
Yeah.
Because we should be reciprocating.
Right.
We should be filling each other up.
Right.
You're a cup, I'm a pitcher. And then it's going to be reciprocated.
Right.
So I shouldn't go empty. But if I'm hurting and you're not saying, I haven't heard from Renee in a while, I'm going to check on her.
Right.
And the same with me, because there are people who are like, girl, I haven't heard from you. What's going on? And they may be offended. And I'm like, I apologize. I haven't been myself. I'm checking on me, so I can't check on some people.
Right.
But you should have that level of communication where it's out of character for you and I not to talk. That's the call you want to get.
That's the call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not someone just calling when they need you. Hey, I knew you'd be there for me. And then the next time, hey, is there any way? Whoa, you didn't even say, hey, how are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the little things that I look at as to how healthy is this friendship? Did you ask how I'm doing before you ask what I can do for you? Those are the things. If I tell you no, what is the relationship going to look like?
Yeah.
Because how often do we give and do when we're not in a position to give, when we're exhausted, but we give and we push and we move and we show up. And people don't realize you look tired.
Yeah.
That's what you want. You want friends who see you. You want family who sees you. That's important.
Yeah. And I think that we, as givers, we never want to see that, or I should say, we never want to feel that we need help because it's a sense of being out of control or not having that control of yourself, of the situation, of the relationship.
Guilty.
Yes.
That is totally right.
I'm there 100% because of the fact that we feel that we have to have some sort of control over life.
Yeah. Especially when you're a fixer.
Yes.
That's what I am. I don't like to see my friends sad. I'm here. I'm going to show up. You good? All right. I'm coming to you.
Right.
That's what I do. But when life happened and I hit rock bottom.
Where are they, Renee?
You know what? I was blessed.
Yeah.
I had a village to show up for me. And I was able to say, of course they knew. It was the time I lost my dad. And I was like, I need you guys.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, Derrick, I was so blessed that they were showing up before I even said it.
Okay.
Very few of them. again, a preacher's kid. A lot of people want to come, Bishop Newman passed, what happened? They want to know what happened,
Right.
want to come to the funeral, check on the church.
Right.
But for those people in my life, my village, that was like, guys, we're going to have to be there for Renee. And I could tell them, I need you.
Yeah.
I had to say that. It was just like, no, I'm not. I couldn't even pretend. But it felt good to be vulnerable and transparent with them, to know I can't pretend, that I could do the ugly cry with, that they were there at my dad's gravesite when the casket was being lowered in the ground and I had a full-on anxiety attack, and they were right there to pick me up.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful. Those are the friends you need when you're in a pit and they're pulling you out. Come on, girl, get up.
Get up. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, you've been through a lot of the grief and you are always trying to make sure everybody is good. How is ReNay Newman today?
Renee, I am surviving and I'm thriving because by the grace of God, I didn't get stuck. I almost got stuck.
Okay.
And as I shared with you, a lot has happened in life.
Right.
From losing my dad to issues in the ministry,
Right.
to my own health crisis,
Yeah.
where I'm fine one day and the next day I wake up and I'm going into a full-on seizure, and I've never had a seizure in my life.
Wow.
And I'm in the hospital for 7 days. In 2 days, I don't remember. So recovering from all of that, I'm being released from neurology as of next Tuesday, praise God.
Yes.
So going through all that trauma, every time I got above ground, I was snatched down.
Okay.
So the highs and low, but now what I've learned through ministry and coaching, ask God for what you need.
Yeah.
From the smallest to the greatest. God, I just need peace. God, my heart is broken.
Yeah.
So I am surviving and I'm getting back into the swing of life. And every day I speak my healing. I have released the trauma of what happened to me, because sometimes we can hold it. When we have trauma, it's just like we hold it in our body. You know what happened to me. So I tell my story differently. Let me tell you of what I was healed from and what I was delivered from.
Right.
Yeah, so I use it as a testimony.
So we have to wrap things up.
All righty.
Tell everyone how important it really is and how it can help you through life, and therapy in its own, because a lot of people are afraid of the word therapy.
They think crazy.
Yes, that I have to be on medication and something's wrong with me.
No.
Tell why is it important that we seek therapy?
I think therapy is so important, just to sit with someone who does not know you in a judgment-free, safe place that can give you the tools and help you align your life. A therapist will not make decisions for you. They will help lay everything out, and then they will help you bring out your inner strength and your ability to process what your needs are, to bring your peace, to teach you self-love, self-appreciation. Whatever your issue is, a therapist will help you, tunnel through those.
Yeah.
And sometimes therapy is difficult because it will make you go places that you're avoiding.
Yeah, right.
So in therapy, full transparency, you have to go to the ugly
That's
places.
right. Yeah.
You are going to have to dig down deep, just like with the well.
Yeah.
But if you want your life to flow in those rivers of living waters, you got to dig deep to get to that healing. So you will go to some ugly places, but it's for your good. And you can have a beautiful life, and you can think and process, and it'll help you understand yourself.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
for stopping by.
Always a pleasure.
And we will have to come back and have some more dialogue and communication, because I think it is so important, especially again in the Black and Brown community. We have to have these conversations, and especially again, I advocate for men because I think it's very important for our men, for our young boys to, to have, be able to find someone that they can talk to.
Yeah.
So I'm just commissioning that, all of our young men, that find somebody that you can trust. Find somebody that you can believe in. You have to have these type of conversations. Don't be afraid of something, and or don't hide something that you want to share. Be able to have that peace in your life. So I thank you guys for tuning in to this exciting episode with ReNay Newman. Thank you so much again for tuning in. Go out, love someone intentionally, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.